ask you, why is there this negative connotation to, brown face or black face over in North America, whereas it doesn't exist that much in Europe?
Oh, it does exist. In the United States, we have a history of this blackface entertainment. It started after the Civil War. It was a way to degrade black people. It was a way to stereotype, putting on black makeup and then making large lips, exaggerating the black stereotype of features, this idea of being lazy, people stealing. So the connotation is a negative stereotype, and it's been going on for a long time. People have made a lot of money out of it. And in fact, I brought something from my collection, How to Stage a Minstrel Show. So you can see that it was really big business, and it's continued. And so the fact that it's like he's mimicked a group of people. Now, he was young.
Not that young.
He was. I think he was 20, wasn't he, when he did that?
Well, it was 20 years ago. He's 47 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was in his mid-20s.
The thing is that white folks need to understand the culture of others, to understand certain things that are hurtful to other people. And he said he was privileged. Well, you're privileged, but you don't know the history, why you shouldn't do this kind of thing. You're free to do what you want to do. If you want to put on blackface and try to act like you're black, fine, but then you have to suffer the consequences.
Now, do you think Justin Trudeau is a racist? Because he hasn't enacted racist policies, but does this one action 20 years ago, well, in multiple times, make him a racist?
No, I have a thing with using the word racist too much. We have to know what real racism is, or racist. What he did was racist acts. But
you find it offensive?
Yeah, but I look at his policies. He apologized. I'm looking at his policies. Who's on his cabinet? Apparently he has some people of color on his cabinet. So I'm not offended because you get used to it. Actually, I hate to say it, but it's sort of like I'm not shocked. A lot of people have done it. And people, in fact, in France, I've had 2 people say, oh, I'm going to do blackface. And I said, well, do it, but make sure you don't do the exaggeration of lips. If you want to do it, do it. But then how do you think it's going to affect me?
But are you, yeah. So that is the thing. How do you think it's going to affect other people? So if people put on blackface, but they don't exaggerate the features, the lips, and,
For me, as an artist, you do what you want. It depends on if you're walking in someone else's shoes, how are they going to feel? That's the thing that I think the white community has to understand. How does the other person feel? You do what you want, but how is it going to make me feel? If you don't care about my feelings, that's kind of racist. It's also kind of a lack of generosity, understanding the history of the other. I think it's important to understand why that blackface, because for years it offended people.
But do you think there's this fine line between, wanting to, Justin Trudeau, he tends to cross this line because, I don't know if you recall, he was in India last year, I believe, and he was, wearing all these Indian clothes, it's like he was going to an Indian wedding almost.
Okay.
And whereas the businessmen who he was meeting with were wearing just regular suits. And there's a line between cultural, how far do you go?
Yeah, but I think that it could be also paying homage to the culture. You see what I mean? It depends on his personality. I think that's okay. I don't think that that's racist. I think that in a lot of ways, if you appreciate the culture of the other person, that's different than doing blackface. It'd be different like if I decided to make my eyes, if I go to China, I lived in China, by the way, to make my eyes, like Chinese, that's a little bit offensive. But I think wearing something of the people, the costume or the traditional wear of the people, I think that that's okay.
Okay, Cheryl,